Hello and welcome to the monthly Q&A for March. If you would like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1. This is from Sky, maybe Skylo from YouTube. First of all, I love your accent. I know it's just the way you British people speak, but it's a sheer pleasure to hear you, and I can also learn how to pronounce better. And the question, do you like any British food in particular, or could recommend anything special, be it dish, single product, or drink? Okay. Do I like any British... Right, so right now, I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet for about 6 weeks, and so when you ask me, do I like any British food in particular? I like a lot of British food right now. Could really go for some fish and chips. Although, in saying that, fish and chips is like the classic British meal. I never get the fish. I've always been really funny about the fish side of things because I love fish and I love it when it's like tuna. I love mackerel, but holy moly, holy mackerel, trying to get the bones out of tinned mackerel is insane. When I was a kid, I vaguely remember this. I was eating some fish once, you know, like it's just like bread in breadcrumbs, you just cook it in the oven. And I got a fish bone from it stuck in my tonsil, and I remember my dad had to get some tweezers and pull it out of my tonsil, and it wasn't painful, like I didn't feel anything. I'm really not squeamish with stuff like that. Anything to do with my throat I'm pretty good with, because being a singer I'm always looking at my throat and what's going on with it, and you know, doing weird stuff with my throat to do with singing, and oh god. So, back to the question, I suppose try fish and chips if you're ever in this country, or the full English breakfast. You can't really go wrong with one of those. I don't think I've ever had a bad full English breakfast when I've been out and about or staying in a hotel or whatever. The last one I had was divine, and it was the best hangover cure because we went hard the night before. It was we went to watch a band and it was brilliant, and the next morning the guy at the hotel that we stayed at the pub actually. so we drank at the pub, we listened to the band at the pub, and then we stayed at the pub in these really lovely rooms, and the next morning the guy that had worked there the night before, watching us all getting progressively more manic, made us the best fry up, and it was so tasty and clean. Like sometimes you can have a fry up and it's a bit oily, or you can tell that they've kind of cooked something in the same oil as something else and it like takes on the taste, but it was so good. The eggs were good, the mushrooms were great. I'm not really a sausage girl. The puns. This whole answer has been full of puns. Don't go there, okay? Think it, don't type it. You've got a chance to, you know, from the process of thinking all these things to translating them to a keyboard, typing, oh you made a little error, backspace, you know, you've got a chance to not put them in the comments, so don't, okay? This is another question from Sky. I'm sorry if it's too personal, but what are your thoughts on having children? I'm a loner and not a family type, so definitely not planning to have them, and I was just wondering if it is your choice that you don't have them, or it's just how life went on. It is actually my choice to not have children. I've never had the kickstart of like the maternal instincts, apart from with animals. Like I look at animals and I'm just like all cooey, and I get really broody about my dog Maggie, and it's never really kicked in with children, which I am disappointed about. I'm not gonna lie, there is a part of me that's like, why don't I want children? Why is that not there for me? Yet I do want, like, if I had the option, I would have so many dogs, so many animals, you know, and this place just ain't big enough, but I would, if I could, I would have so many animals. I'd even make some kind of sanctuary to take care of animals if I could, you know. Any stray that I met would be straight in my sanctuary, but the maternal side of things have never really kicked in for me, and I don't know why, but because I'm going to be 33 in April, there is this internal clock ticking that I can hear, and I do often think, you know, I am getting to a point where soon it's actually classed as unsafe to have children, or not necessarily unsafe, but you're kind of putting your unborn child in a situation where they could be born slightly unhealthier because of my age. So it is something where my internal, I can hear the tick-tock, but I guess it's not loud enough for me to actually think I want children, you know. So it has been a decision that Ian and I have made to not have kids, and to just have loads of dogs. So life is good when you have a dog, let me tell you. If you're a loner and you want some company, get a dog. They are the best. When you have slain all of your enemies, what is left to fear? I guess nothing but fear itself. How important is exercise and physical fitness for being a singer, and what do you do to stay in top condition? Oh my god, what a great question. So there's been a lot of times in the past where I've let my physical fitness completely just plummet, and you can totally tell when you start singing if you're in a good condition fitness wise. And for the past, like, there's been, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people, you go through phases where you work out and then you don't work out, and then you work out and then you don't work out, and every time that I've been in a place where I've been working out, my singing voice definitely feels stronger. There's so much more support, all your muscles have woken up, they've all kicked into gear, and they're good to go, they're ready. And things that I like to do to like stay in top condition vocal wise is, I've never really spoken about this before, but I used to be a smoker, and I was a smoker from the age of maybe 16 to maybe 26, round about then, or maybe even longer than that. But when I started to really want this job as a singer, and I really wanted it, I gave up smoking, and it was hard, but I really wanted to take that first initial step to give up smoking, because some people say that smoking gives their voice like a husky tone when they're singing, and that's all well and good, but that isn't a healthy husky tone. And also your breath control, like my breath control was bad, and it still kind of is, but it's not as bad as when I was actually a smoker, and you can't take in as much breath, and you just feel kind of gross, and in the morning it would take a long time to kind of get over the whole sort of horrible way that you feel in the morning. And so I gave up smoking as one of the first steps to seriously pursuing like my job as a singer. And now what I tend to do is every time I sing religiously, I will put the kettle on and I will let a yogi throat coat tea just steep. It is the word steep, isn't it, when you just let it brew. And I'll let that brew for, whilst I'm doing my vocal warm-ups. So then by the time I've done my vocal warm-ups, my throat coat tea is ready to go. And it really makes my throat feel so good when I'm singing, and I do that religiously. Like, I can't sing without my throat coat tea. I love it. And afterwards, once I've finished singing, because the larynx can sometimes get placed quite high, especially because I'm a nightmare with using my chest voice. I am a stubborn Taurus, and I really try and get my chest voice as high as I can before I go into mix and then head off falsetto. So because of that, a lot of the time after I've sang, I find that my voice is higher. Like, so I'm talking at this level here, but after I've been singing and perhaps pushing my chest voice, my voice will be more up here because my larynx is higher placed. So what I tend to do is, after I've finished singing, I will just sit quietly for the rest of the day, and I will just hum low and ooze low, so ooh. And I'll just do that very gently, quieter than that, just to let my larynx come back down. And another thing is, a lot of people wonder, a lot of my guildies and friends and things like that, they go on voice chat quite a lot in the evening, and a lot of the time I don't join them. Even though I want to, I don't, because if I've been singing all day long, the last thing I want to be doing is trying to engage in conversation when my voice just wants to rest, you know, and it is common practice for singers to not necessarily even speak first thing in the morning or in the evening. They just sit quietly and let their voice rest. So even things like this, afterwards I'm constantly thinking about how my voice is feeling. It's something that's always on my mind, so I'm always aware of what's going on with my voice, and I listen to how my throat's feeling, and if I feel like I need to stop speaking, then I will. If you won the lottery, what would you do with the money? I think I had this question a little while ago, and I did say we'd have to take as read like giving money to charity, trying to accomplish world peace, saving every single stray animal in the world. Just take those as like a given. But if I won like the big jackpot, one thing obviously, and also taking, would help the families out, help the friends out, they're all sorted. Now what would I do for me? So probably the first thing that I'd like to do is have a studio created that's both good for Ian and I, because Ian's a guitarist and a songwriter, so he would a great space as well, not just myself to like work on music. And I would hire a music engineer and someone to create my videos for me, because all I want to focus on is my singing. Most of the time I just want to play around with vowel sounds and how to get my consonants out without closing my throat, and I want to practice all these things, and I like to do my vocal warm-ups, and I just want to sing, and I don't want all that technicality of mixing and then like just these little errors that you get and the mouth clicks and the mic pops and all these sorts of things. I'd rather just have someone go, I can do that all for you, and I would pay someone to do that, and then I'd pay someone to make my video for me, and they would have to know how to do machinima, because machinima is the best type of video. Do you have any tips on living a healthy life? Why am I getting so many health questions? I'm confused. I'm not that healthy, I'm actually quite unhealthy. Tips on living a healthy life. I think laughter is a tip for living a healthy life. You can eat anything and do anything and be in any situation, but as long as you can laugh, you're generally gonna feel good no matter what's going on, you know. So I think try and laugh. You know, they have those classes where you can go to them and there'll be like a coach or whatever, and they'll say, right, come on, let's warm your body up, and they start doing all these moves, and then suddenly they'll go, okay, and now we're going to do some laughing, ho 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 ho, ha ha ha, and they stand there doing that, and I just think, why can't you just go and watch something funny? Check out some vines, that'll make you laugh. Is there more to this world than what the physical reality of our daily existence lets us perceive? I'd like to think so. I really would like to think so. I tend to go down the rabbit hole quite a lot with like mindful thoughts, and it's not always a good thing. But a lot of the time, and I'm sure a lot of you people think this as well, you'll make a decision, probably quite a big one, and you sometimes think to yourself, in a parallel world, what would have happened if I'd made the other choice? And I think about things like that quite a lot, and it would be nice to think that there's some kind of other dimension that we don't know about that's like Fillory or Narnia, and it's just freaking awesome, and you can go there and become a queen, and there's like unicorns running around, and it's like something out of My Little Pony. That would be great, wouldn't it? So that's it for this month's Q&A. I'm going to end it there because a song that I've been waiting to sing has just come out on karaoke version. I've been waiting about 2 months for it, so I'm really excited to go and sing it. If you would like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade, and I will do my best to answer your question. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for the weekly vlog. Bye!